You ever notice how the best moments of your day happen when you're not looking for them? That conversation in the hallway that actually meant something. The way light hit the kitchen counter while you were making coffee. The silence after everyone left and you finally exhaled. None of those were scheduled. None of them came with a notification. They just existed, quietly, while you were busy hunting for something else, and that's the problem, isn't it? We've become hunters in a world that doesn't require hunting anymore. Every need anticipated, every craving one click away, every question answered before we finish typing it. We're wired for pursuit in an era of instant arrival, and it's making us sick in ways we don't have language for yet. You feel it, though. That weird emptiness that shows up right after you get exactly what you wanted. The way satisfaction evaporates the moment it lands. How you can scroll for an hour and feel nothing, absolutely nothing, except the vague anxiety that you're supposed to be doing something else, being someone else, living some other life that exists just outside your peripheral vision. This isn't about willpower. It's not a moral failing. It's not because you're weak or broken or lack discipline. It's because your nervous system is operating on protocols designed for a world that no longer exists, and every app developer, content creator, and platform architect knows it. They've built billion-dollar empires on the gap between anticipation and satisfaction, on the space between wanting and having, on the promise that the next click might be the one that finally fills whatever's missing. But here's what they don't tell you. The architecture of wanting has nothing to do with getting. Your brain doesn't light up when you find the answer. It lights up when it thinks the answer is coming. The scientist doesn't celebrate the discovery, they celebrate the moment before, when the data starts pointing somewhere new. The gambler doesn't feel alive when they win, they feel alive when the wheel is still spinning. The whole system runs on maybe, on almost, on what if, and once you understand that, once you really see it, you start noticing it everywhere. The way your hand reaches for your phone before you've decided to check it. How you open the same app you just closed 2 minutes ago, expecting different results. The physical restlessness that shows up whenever you try to just sit with yourself for more than 60 seconds. It's not boredom. It's withdrawal from a drug you didn't know you were taking, because that's what's happening here. Your nervous system has been training itself, building tolerance, recalibrating what normal feels like based on input that's getting progressively more intense. It's the same mechanism that makes coffee stop working after a while, or how the third beer doesn't hit like the first one, or why roller coasters get boring if you ride them enough times, except you're not riding roller coasters. You're sitting on your couch, scrolling through other people's highlight reels, and somehow that's enough to completely dysregulate your ability to find meaning in ordinary life. The book you used to love? Boring now. Too slow. Not enough happening per minute. The conversation with your partner? Feels flat. Where's the drama, the intensity, the constant novelty? The work you once found engaging? Now it's just friction between you and the next dopamine drop, and you resent it for existing. This is the cost of optimization, of convenience, of a world designed to give you exactly what you think you want, exactly when you want it, without ever making you wait or work or wonder. You've outsourced uncertainty, and uncertainty was doing most of the heavy lifting in your emotional life. Think about it. What actually feels good? Not the moment you swipe right and match. The moment before, when you're still wondering if they'll match back. Not finishing the project. Starting it, when anything's still possible. Not the meal itself, planning it, imagining it, the anticipation building while the oven preheats. We've been sold this idea that happiness is the absence of wanting, but that's backwards. Happiness is wanting things you can actually have, at a pace that lets you feel the texture of getting them. It's the difference between inhaling a meal and tasting it. Between hearing music and listening to it, but you can't taste anything when your mouth is already full. So what do you do? How do you unfuck a nervous system that's been optimizing for the wrong thing? You start by stopping. Not the dramatic kind of stopping, that doesn't work, we'll get to why in a second, but the small kind. The unglamorous kind that feels pointless precisely because it is pointless, and pointless is exactly what your system needs right now. Sit on the toilet without your phone. Just once today. Feel how weird that is. Notice the discomfort that shows up, how quickly your brain starts cataloging everything you could be doing instead. Don't judge it. Just watch it like you'd watch weather moving through. Wait for the elevator without checking your email. Stand there. Feel how long 10 seconds actually is when you're not filling it with something. Eat one meal without a screen. Put the fork down between bites. Notice flavors. This will feel absurd. Good. Absurd is the point. These aren't solutions. They're experiments in remembering what baseline feels like. Because you've been running so hot for so long that you've forgotten what temperature you're supposed to be. And here's the thing nobody tells you about tolerance. It's bidirectional. The same mechanism that made normal boring can make normal interesting again. But it requires time. Not days, months. Not willpower, consistency. Not perfection, just slightly more boredom than you're comfortable with, repeatedly, until your nervous system recalibrates around it. This is where people fuck up. They decide to go cold turkey on everything, delete all their apps, throw their phone in a drawer, declare war on pleasure. And for about 4 days, they feel amazing, righteous, clean, like they finally cracked the code. Then they crash hard. Because they didn't build a new system, they just created scarcity, and scarcity makes everything more valuable, not less. The phone comes back out of the drawer. The apps get re-downloaded. And now there's shame on top of everything else. This story about how they failed, how they're not strong enough, how they'll never change. But change isn't an event. It's a direction. And direction only requires one thing: taking the next step in that direction more often than you take a step away from it.so. Pick one thing. Not 7. 1. The smallest thing you can imagine that moves you incrementally toward being someone who can sit with themselves without needing rescued. Maybe it's making your bed before you check your phone. Maybe it's walking to the mailbox without earbuds. Maybe it's 15 minutes before bed with no screens, just you and the dark and your thoughts, which will be annoying and scattered and restless until they're not. You won't notice the difference tomorrow. You might not notice it next week. But in 3 months, you'll look back and realize something shifted. Not dramatically. Not obviously, but you'll catch yourself actually tasting your coffee instead of using it as fuel. Actually hearing what your friend said instead of waiting for your turn to talk. Actually here, in this moment, instead of halfway somewhere else. And that might not sound revolutionary, but it is. Because presence is the only place life actually happens. Everything else is just rehearsal and review, fantasy and fear, the endless loop of what if and what was. But here's what makes this hard: your body is going to fight you, not because it's broken, but because it's smart. It knows that restlessness has kept you alive for thousands of years. That the monkey who sat around enjoying the sunset got eaten by the tiger, while the anxious monkey scanning for threats made it to tomorrow. Your nervous system is doing exactly what it's designed to do: protect you. It's just protecting you from the wrong thing now. There are no tigers. Just emails and deadlines and the vague sense that you're running out of time to become whoever you're supposed to be. E.so. When your body starts screaming that sitting still is dangerous, that boredom is a problem, that you need to check, scroll, consume, optimize, that's not truth. That's just old code running in a new environment, and you override old code the same way you install new code: repetition. Slowly, boringly, without drama. Walk around the block. Drink water. Go to bed at the same time. Stretch without putting on a video about stretching. These aren't hacks. They're not optimizations. They're just basic maintenance for a system that's been running in crisis mode so long it forgot what normal operations look like. And yes, this means your progress will be invisible, maddeningly slow, impossible to track or quantify or turn into a before and after story. You won't be able to post about it. Nobody will notice except you, and even you won't notice most days. But 6 months from now, something will happen. Someone will ask you a question, and you'll actually think about your answer instead of filling the silence with whatever comes to mind first. You'll sit down to work and realize an hour passed without you checking anything. You'll have a conversation that goes somewhere real because you weren't performing it for an invisible audience. And you'll remember this moment, right now, when you first started to suspect that maybe the problem isn't that life is boring. Maybe the problem is you've been moving too fast to see it. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't a failure. It's feedback. It's your system telling you that something in the equation needs to change, and it's not the world, it's your relationship to it.so. Here's what you do when you finish this: nothing. Don't open another tab. Don't look for the next thing. Don't try to solve this immediately. Just close this and sit there. 30 seconds. Feel how uncomfortable that is. Notice the itch to move, to consume, to fill the space. Notice it, and then watch it pass, because it will pass. Everything does. That's the whole point. The anxiety, the restlessness, the sense that you're missing something, it's weather. It shows up, it does its thing, it moves on. But only if you let it. Only if you stop trying to outrun it. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're just overstimulated, undertrained, and operating in an environment that's optimized for engagement instead of well-being. And the fix isn't dramatic. It's not sexy. It won't make a good story. It's just you choosing boredom on purpose, often enough that it stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like peace. That's it. That's the whole thing. Pick one small place to practice. Show up there tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. Not perfectly, just consistently, and maybe, eventually, you'll stop hunting for moments and start living in them instead.